you say when people say where you from?
America.
No, where's your country?
My country is America. I was born in New York, raised in...
Where your parents from?
My parents are from New York.
America.
Yo, I hate when Americans ask me where I'm from. They be like, where you from? I'm like, I'm from Florida. Nah, where you from?
As Black Americans, we need to normalize when people ask us where we're from, we simply say we're from America, because that is true. But you know what? Some people are intellectually curious, and so they might say, oh, via where, and you know, they might be trying to build a bond with you.
Hello good people, welcome to African Commentary. If you are new here, kindly consider subscribing, liking and sharing the videos. I really appreciate. I want us to discuss the question, where are you from? And particularly I'm speaking about Black Americans. Like most people like to ask Black Americans this question, where are you from? But the way they ask the question, I think it's the wrong way or the insensitive way to ask. Like they ask out of curiosity, not from a point of wanting to learn or to know. They just want to feed their curiosity, or it's kinda like they want to put Black Americans down. And before I speak much, let's watch some videos. Let me know your thoughts about this. What do you think about this whole topic?
What do you say when people say where you from?
America.
No, where's your country?
My country is America. I was born in New York, raised in...
Where your parents from?
My parents are from New York.
Americans, they don't know where they're from, you know.
Americans don't know where they're from.
It's a mystery.
How is it a mystery?
Because you must be Caribbean or African or...
What do you mean,
something.
Caribbean? Isn't Caribbean a part of America as well?
There's some in there.
Jamaica?
It's not really America,
Yeah, but they're
but
not.
it's near. It's near, but it's not.
What continent is the Caribbean in? Jamaica? What continent is that?
Why are you running?
You're trying to jump me out.
No, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a simple question. Where you from? You from Congo?
And Jamaica.
And Jamaica. What continent is Jamaica in?
If you don't answer that, I'm leaving you.
I just want to know what continent Jamaica's in.
I didn't pass geography.
Hey y'all, I'm just here to remind you that after 400 years, America is a legitimate country of origin. What I'm saying is when Black Americans tell you that they are American, please stop following up with, but where are you from? The answer is America. See, that's the problem with Black Americans. They don't know where they're from. Black Americans built this country. This is where they are from. It's most of the rest of us who just got here. Aside from the Native Americans, who are the OG Americans, shout out to them. Also, for the people who like to say that Black Americans don't know where they come from, do y'all say the same thing to Black Jamaicans? Black Brazilians? White Americans? I bet no one asks white Americans what part of Europe they descend from. Everyone else gets a pass on not being able to tell you where their bloodline started, but Black Americans gotta give you their genealogy. And a lot of that is rooted in this belief that Black Americans lack culture. Meanwhile, the whole world copies Black American culture, from their clothes to their music to their internet trends. Anyway, if y'all wanna honor Juneteenth and the legacy of slavery beyond today, I recommend visiting the Whitney Plantation in Louisiana, which is one of the few plantation tours that actually focuses on the history of slavery and not just antebellum life. And if you want, I can drop a video on the Whitney Plantation.
What is your biggest culture shock living in the UK?
Black British people are always asking me where I'm from. Then when I tell them America, they're like digging for more. And there's not more because the whole slave trade.
I just literally yesterday had a video about this and they don't understand.
And they're like, you're not from Jamaica? I'm like, bro, there was a whole slave trade. Like, I don't know where I'm from.
And they almost shame us for not knowing.
Yes.
I'm like, bro, you think it was my choice? That for not knowing? They took our last name.
We don't have a culture, we don't have food, we don't have a language, we have nothing, and that's not our fault.
I would say we have a culture though. I feel like Black Americans have a culture now with the music, the food.
Yes, but there's not like how they have a culture,
Exactly.
and they don't understand.
And they can't comprehend that.
And I'm like, you want to be my friend or not?
Yo, I hate when Americans ask me where I'm from. They be like, where you from? I'm like, I'm from Florida. Nah, where you from? Jacksonville, Florida. They're like, no, you're not American. Where you from? What? Where you from?
As Black Americans, we need to normalize when people ask us where we're from, we simply say we're from America, because that is true. But you know what? Some people are intellectually curious, and so they might say, oh, via where, and you know, they might be trying to build a bond with you. And you can simply say, I'm multi-generational American. My ancestors came to America via the transatlantic slave trade hundreds of years ago. And I use that all the time, and people literally grasp it immediately. Even if they don't, they know enough not to keep prying and ask. It usually closes the door. Also, I think because this is the global history of so many countries around the world, like Jamaica and Haiti and Barbados and St. Vincent, St. Lucia, I mean, I can go on. But like for some reason, sometimes when Black Americans, because America has such an immigrant history, there's a perception that you are a first and second generation immigrant, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And sometimes people are just simply asking because you remind them of their countrymen, which I think is like a really good compliment. But also, as a Black American, you don't owe anyone a history lesson. Sometimes there is an educational deficit in their home country, or there is somehow an educational deficit, you know, culturally, and they just don't have that history and they don't have that context. Yes, they understand Americanness and they understand Western culture and they see Black Americans on TV and all these things, but a lot of times they don't have the historical context. And if you feel like it, go off and give them the history lesson. But what I will never do, it's no shade to y'all, what I will never do is look somebody dead in the eye and tell them I don't know where I'm from. Because I know exactly where I'm from. And I'm super proud. It's a super rich history with a super rich like cultural context and diaspora community.
This conversation is for Black Americans. Why do you claim to be an Aboriginal American Indian indigenous to America when in fact we are descendants of West Africans? To ignore the fact that the natives of this land exist and they're here and you're ignoring them, you're no better than a colonizer. I came across 3 videos just now which really threw me for a fucking loop.
We're not from Africa, we are natives. It's our land, we all know about the slave ships. We're not from Africa, we indigenous. I need you to listen, I need you to be getting this. We not black, that's the curse.
So this is how you know slavery ain't really happened. Tell me why modern day 2025, we don't have any boats coming directly from Africa to America. There's no way to get to Africa on a boat. Anybody came over here on boats, we know it was the West Indians, the Caribbeans, the South Americans, you know, somebody close. Nobody came from Africa on no boat.
American Indian here, African where? I said American Indian here, African.
Hichatu, Idija, Movi, Katiwi.
What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy! Since you guys claim that we are originally from here, we're aboriginal to America, I want someone in the comments to name me 3 aspects of this original culture and group of people that exist within Black culture today that don't include Native American, indigenous, West African, and European elements. You can't, because it's most certainly not the food, because the food is definitely European, West African, and Native American. Most certainly isn't the religion, because hoodoo and other spiritual religions that we practice as Black people all come from West Africa. And it most certainly can't be the language. All that came online, it was faking like she spoke a native language, in which many Native Americans don't even speak their language because they are also colonized, right? And so the Europeans added to their rage. Imagine a people that are alive and well. When you look at Mexicans and you see the Mexican phenotype, they're native. You look at Ecuadorians, they're native. You look at Peruvians, those are native people. They're not phenotypically African. I can take someone's uncle I can take a little man, big fella, whatever you call him in the South, from Mississippi or Alabama, and go to Nigeria, and that'll be Wale or Chinedu in Nigeria. And I've seen that with my own eyes. Going to see how phenotypically we look exactly the same in both places, that should be evidence enough, but it's not for you guys. But to ignore the fact that the natives of this land exist and they're here, and you're ignoring them, you're no better than a colonizer.
Black American ancestors, the copper-colored indigenous Americans, did not come from Africa at all. They were the master architects who built the pyramids on both continents long before there were any African dynasties. Africa learned civilization from Black Americans, not the reverse. Black Americans are the descendants of the original master builders, the ancestors who created the most advanced ancient civilizations. Then they spread that knowledge globally. We are the original Moors of Temeri or Turtle Island. We are the ancient Egyptians. We are the mound builders of Mississippi. We are the Olmecs, the Mayans, and the Aztecs.
Being Black American abroad is actually humiliating.
So that video was really entertaining, and as a Black American who's lived abroad, I've lived in 3 different countries, this is how I handled the situation of someone asking me, like, where are you from? But like, where are you really from? Implying that they don't know anything about the history of Black Americans and why we don't know where we're from. So someone will start with, oh, where are you from? And I say, I'm from New York. I don't just be saying I'm American. I say I'm from New York. And then they'll say, oh, no, but I mean, like, where are you really from? And I'm like, oh, from like New York, you know, New York City, you've heard of it, right? If they continue to push, this is where we go, because I'm going to make you look stupid before you embarrass me. What do you mean? Like, but where are you really from? Oh, sorry, you know, maybe I was just assuming you guys learn about, like, you know, geography and like US geography in your schools, but maybe you don't. Maybe you've never heard of it. I'm from the United States of America, and we have these things called like states. Some people call them counties or different regions. We call them states, and we have 50 of them, and I'm from the state of New York. It's kind of famous, like for the, you know, Big Apple, Empire State Building, Times Square. A lot of people have heard of it, but maybe you just didn't learn about it, but that's okay. But yeah, that's where I'm from. And usually that's enough to make them scurry away. If they're a very persistent, very particular type of asshole, this is how the rest of the conversation goes. So they might say something like, oh, but I mean, everyone's from somewhere, right? Like everyone's an immigrant. A lot of people say that who are immigrants. Everyone's an immigrant. So you've got to have immigrated from somewhere. And then I go into this part, which is basically like, oh yeah, I mean, not everyone's an immigrant. I mean, some people are, like, you just kind of came here from wherever you're from. Some people are just born in countries and just like live there. Yeah, so no, not everyone's an immigrant. Although, you know, I guess we both are now, because we both came from different countries and now we both live here in, you know, insert whatever cities. Like right now I live in Hong Kong. So I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I guess we're both immigrants, because you were born wherever you're from. I was born in New York, and now we both just kind of immigrated here. And yeah, that's just kind of it. Isn't that great? But if you're a Black person living abroad, don't ever let anyone make you feel embarrassed for their own ignorance.
One thing that be pissing me off with Black Americans y'all be doing is they'll tell you that they're from America, and y'all will still ask them, wait, so where are you actually from? Where are you actually from? They're from fucking America, bro. Like, they just told your ass that shit. I think a lot of people be forgetting that their home countries are literally newer than America. Like, they just got named in the 19th century type shit. Like, they took motherfuckers off slave shit with no documentation and shit. Like, obviously, they're not gonna know what specific part of the fucking world they was taken from and shit, but they'll tell you where they come from, and it's fucking America. And y'all be acting retarded with this shit.
Fam, no lie. I think I'm starting to despise the people that say that they not from Africa, the Black people that say they're not from Africa. I say I'm not African American, I'm just American. I was born in America. We are the only ethnic group that doesn't know, doesn't care where we from, and doesn't take pride in being from somewhere else, as well as being American. If you met or grew up with white people, they know where they came here from, where their grandparents from, and they take pride in that, as well as being American. We're the only group that like don't want to find out and completely write it off and say that we're just American, which I believe was the plan of the slave owners in the first place, was to take us from our homeland, make us forget, and make us hate ourselves. There's no better indication that it worked than a nigga getting online and saying, I'm not from Africa, I'm not African American, I'm just American, because I was just born over here. Bro, that's exactly what the fuck they wanted. That's pissing me off. Just say you don't want to know. You don't know and you don't want to know. Don't completely write it off and say we don't look like them, we don't whatever like them. Bro, we are them. That's the only proof we got. And we were here first. We are the real Native Americans. Where's the proof? And show me a Native American that believe your story. Most of the Oneidas, Menominees, Potawatomis I know, they don't believe that shit. My grandma told me I was a Cherokee. Say that to an Oneida. They're gonna think that's funny. That's a joke, bro. So why don't we just don't say we don't want to know, instead of putting online that we hate ourselves and we hate each other. That's what's going on with Black people, bro. And it's just so fucked up. We like the only ethnic group that's not connected to a culture or a place, and we don't care to be. We just think that being a color and subscribing to that and being from here is the be-all, end-all. But being a color and subscribing to that we're from here is accepting the fact that our lineage begins with us in bondage. Why is that enough for y'all? It's not enough for me. I want to know more, if I can know more. Like, my lineage wasn't just shining shit and coming from building a country for nothing and being a slave. Like, I don't get it. We gotta do better, please. This shit's starting to piss me off, low key.
This topic about the origin of Black Americans is something that I don't think will ever end. People will still question and question for years and years to come. And what I don't like is that most people ask this question in a very insensitive way. It's just like they want to piss off Black Americans. They want to question your place in a foreign country, especially from these white people who like to ask Black Americans, where are you from? When a Black American answers that I am from America, they still insist, where are you from? Just to tell you that, to remind you that this is not your place, you are in our place, and we need to know where you come from. I'm going to talk about why the question where are you from pisses Black Americans off, because it is something they are asked from time to time. Personally, what I can say about this is that it's high time people just learn Black Americans history and to understand why the question is uncomfortable to Black Americans, because it is not something in their control. Most of them, Black Americans, are just descendants of the enslaved Africans who are transported from West Africa, Central Africa to the US. So this question of where are you from is just kind of reminding them of their identity crisis. You see, all Black Americans experience identity crisis. Some of them really know where they come from, and some of them claim that they are Native Americans. I feel like I am at a point where I'm not going to question Black Americans, where are you from, because I'm just going to learn history, to learn about what happened and how they came up to be in the US, how some of them are natives to America. So for those people who like questioning Black Americans, especially those who ask from a point of, let me say, curiosity, they're just not asking like in a cordial way, like when someone wants to know more about you, he or she will ask you maybe your names, where are you from. They ask this question in a way to make someone question him or herself, like, where am I from really? The world needs to know, like, these people need to know where am I from. And this is why this question pisses off Black Americans. So we have spoken about slavery so many times, I don't even want to go back into the details. If you haven't learned about slavery and all that happened, just take your time, go and read more about slavery, go and read more about how Black Americans came to be in the US, how everything happened, because I feel like we should move on past this question. We should accept things as they are. Yes, Black Americans are descendants of the enslaved Africans, right? But now it's been years and years. They have developed their culture, they have generations and generations of their ancestors. So most of them haven't even stepped their foot in Africa. They have never stepped their foot in Africa. They know nothing about Africa. We can't blame you guys. It's not in your control that things happen the way they did happen. They happened and it was just, I don't know, it's just part of life. Some things you don't have control over, and it's upon them, Black Americans, if they want to find out where they are from, and also if they're okay being an American or coming from America, being Native American, that's okay. I feel like we should look past this. Yes, it is their history, it's their story, it's their identity. Some of these people ask the question just to racial profile Black Americans, to show them that you are in a country that is not yours. Where are you from? You need to go back home. It's kind of like someone is sending you away without saying the exact words that I am sending you away. They just want to question them, to make them feel out of place, to make them feel like they're lost. Yeah, but what I can tell you, Black Americans, is that you got this. What I can say to you, Black Americans, is that it's upon you guys. You don't owe any person explanations of who you are, where you come from. I mean, like, people can go and learn. There are books, we have Google, we have YouTube. Like, there are a lot of sites where someone can just go and learn about someone's culture, someone's history, instead of each and every time reminding Black Americans that, you know what, you are not from here, you need to go back home, you need to go back where you came from. These people have spent most of their life in the US. They have been there for years. They have built that nation, the American nation. They have done a lot. So that's their home. Yeah, America is their home, whether we like it or not. It might not be by ancestry, but it is a place they call home. It is a place some of them have known since they were born. Some of them have been born there and they have never stepped even out of America. Let Black Americans take their time to know who they are, to work on that. It's upon them. It's not even up to us to pressure you guys, like where you come from, where's your originality, what. It's upon you guys, because for me, what I see beyond where someone is coming from. What I say is that I see a Black race, a Black community, a community full of great potential, a community full of powerful people, great people who make innovation, who come up with innovations, not just innovations but great innovations. So for me personally, I feel like we should go past this question. I feel like we should go beyond asking these questions. It's like we are being racist in a way, even for those Blacks who still ask Black Americans that, where are you from? Does that really matter? Does it really contribute to anything that you guys are doing? Because if it's working together, you can still work together with the Black American without even raising the question, where are you from, and making them feel uncomfortable, making them experience identity crisis. You see, these guys have been through a lot. They have lost a lot. Languages were erased. Their language was erased. Americans have lost a lot of things as a result of slavery. They lost their languages, they lost their identities, they lost their cultures, you see. So for people to come and remind them of everything, the traumas and all those things, I don't think it's necessary. It's high time we just focus on the present. Yes, if you want to learn about history, if you want to learn about their past, you can find that information online. It's everywhere, guys. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts about this. I just feel like this question, unless you're asking from a polite way, from a way of, you are asking from a point of knowing, not just a point of feeling your ego and wanting to show Black Americans that, you know what, for us we know where we come from, but you guys don't know where you come from. You see, no, or making them feel out of place, reminding them that, you know, you are in our country, you need to go back home. That's not right. I feel like we are past that. Let's focus on more greater things. Let's focus on moving on as a community. Let's focus on how we're contributing to the growth of Black communities. So with that said, guys, Black Americans, I really understand the life you have to live, because you have to keep on answering people, where are you from, where are you from? Don't feel bad about it. For some people, they're just ignorant, they don't learn history, but I hope from your end you can just try and understand them, because what can you do about it? To summarize on this, I'll say this: as a Black community, we need to stop the small grudges, small beefs that are heading nowhere. This questioning is heading nowhere. We need to be past this. We need to focus on more greater things. As I have said before, let's focus on how can we come together as Afro-Caribbeans, as Black Americans, as Africans. Like, how can we come together and do something? How can we win the system? Because we are being divided by things that do not matter. Yet the issue here is the system, because the system now is happy and it is winning when we are divided. That is something that we as Black people, we are forgetting. You know, they manage to divide and conquer. So when we are fighting between ourselves, amongst ourselves, they are winning, and that is something we need to put in our heads as Black people. Let's look forward. Let's look beyond races, beyond places where people come. that can be done later, but for now let's focus with the real issues that we are facing as a black community. Let's build businesses for ourselves. Let's build facilities that can help us and help our children and the children of our children, if you get my point. Yeah, so I'm just putting this video to make more people learn that this question is, you might be asking from a point of being concerned, but just try and learn more about Black Americans' history. It's out there, we speak about it every now and then. So with that said, guys, let's meet in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and I will really appreciate. See you in the next one. Bye.